Hey everyone, welcome back to the Elemental Chef. On today's episode, we're going to be looking at the first part of fruits. So we're going to start off cherries and berries. So let's get started. Okay, so first, this is a cherry. A cherry is a small, it's kind of like a berry. It has a pit in it, and it's this like beautiful red color, and it can be tart, but it can also be really sweet. A lot of the times it's de-pitted and then put in a sugar syrup, and then you can make it into drinks, but you can also do a lot with it, especially when you're making like Christmas food or something like that. And then this is a strawberry. These can also be pretty tart. I'm sure everyone here has had a strawberry. If you haven't, I would definitely recommend trying one. But they can be either sweet or tart, and they can be pretty big or small. This is a blueberry. Blueberries, they are not personally my favorite, but a lot of people do like them, and they can be very sweet. This is a raspberry, and you can see how they're little like almost dots that are held together, and they can be pretty tart. And then here's a blackberry. So it's the same structure as a raspberry or a similar one, but you can see how it has a core in it. These are sweeter than a raspberry. So next we're going to go on to grapes. So grapes grow on vines, and there's a lot of different types of grapes. Here's a green grape, and these tend to be a little tartar, whereas these red grapes are a little sweeter. The green grapes I personally love because I have these vivid memories of when I was in Italy, eating them straight off the vine when I was staying in a convent. And they were the most delicious grapes I've ever had. So this is a banana. I'm sure a lot of people here watching know what a banana is and have had it at least once in their life. If you haven't, it has a very unique flavor. It can be made into a lot of desserts, and a lot of people really like bananas. I'm one of those people who don't like bananas, but that's just me. You can see how it has a skin, and then the inside of it is this softer pulp. So here's a nectarine. This is kind of like a peach, except for it's a little tartar, and it has a little bit of a different flavor, but it is similar to a peach in that it has a fuzzy outside, and it has the pit in the inside. And then here is a apple. So apples can be used in a lot of dishes, including savory dishes, which I know a lot of people here probably only think of apples as sweet. But they can be really good in savory dishes as a marinade. This is a green apple, or a Granny Smith. These are definitely tart, and some people don't like that, but personally these are my favorite because I like how tart they are, and they're really refreshing on a cold day, especially when they're also chilled, or on a hot day when they're chilled. You can see the core in the center with all the seeds. Make sure not to eat the seeds. Or the core. You can, but it's not good. This red apple is a little sweeter, and I believe the texture isn't as good, but that's just me. So here's another red apple. This particular one is sweeter, and it has a little bit of a better mouthfeel than the other red apple. You can see how to cut these by cutting off the cheeks and then getting rid of the core, and then doing whatever you want with the rest of it. This yellow apple is really good for pies, along with the Granny Smith, because it will brown really well and get you a really nice flavor. So next we're going to look at kiwis and pears. So kiwis are kind of sweet, and they are used in not that much cooking, but they're used in a lot of baking, especially as like a puree or something dried. And then a pear is used a little more in cooking, and it's kind of like an apple, except for a little different of a texture, and they're really juicy, which is why I really like pears. So next we'll look at grapefruits, lemons, and limes. So a grapefruit, if you've never had one, is really, really, really tart and really sour. So a lot of people don't like them. They can be used for a lot, especially the juice, especially in drinks. So a lot of people will make drinks out of them, and they are really refreshing, especially when it's hot outside. You can see the actual fruit itself, after you've peeled it, is pretty big, and the wedges you get from it are much larger than something like an orange. Okay, so here is a lemon. A lemon is pretty universal within food. A lot of people, it's very good for sauces or marinades or dressings. And then limes, are similar. They can be used in marinades or dressings. They can be put on tacos, or there's so many things to do with a lime, and it's really just a good way to, or a lemon, it's really just a good way to add some acidity to whatever sauce you're making. So next we're going to look at pineapples. Pineapples have an enzyme in them that when you marinate the food with, it becomes very tender because it breaks down some of the connective tissue and makes it much more tender and softer to bite through. So a lot of the times it's used in marinades, but also it can just be eaten on its own. It can be cooked, it can be made into a juice. There's a lot of things you can do with a pineapple. So finally, we're going to look at cantaloupes and watermelons. And melons. So this is a honeydew. And a honeydew is kind of... it's hard to describe the flavor of these. I would try them to see if you like them. I don't really eat these that much because... they're just not my favorite, but a lot of people did like them. And then, along with the cantaloupe, they can be really sweet. And then here's a watermelon. I'm sure all of us have had a watermelon at least once. If you haven't, it's not a super strong flavor, but it's red in the inside, and so I would recommend trying it. I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye.